Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we are doing something back to being food related. I know it's been a lot of pregnancy content. I think the last 3 videos maybe have been pregnancy, and I am so excited to bring a new food video. So I've done a lot of grocery hauls. I've done some healthy swaps, my favorite things from Trader Joe's, Kroger, which is why today I wanted to share 15 foods that I never buy from the grocery store. But I do want to clarify, because if you scrolled back on my archives or something, you may have seen me eat these foods before. I'm not saying I never eat them. Sometimes you're at the airport, you grab and go, it's fine. But these are just things that I choose not to spend my money on, and also giving the alternatives to what I purchase instead. So for the first one, it is pre-made oatmeal cups / flavored oatmeal. In college, I pretty much lived off of those Quaker Oats apple cinnamon instant oatmeal packets. And sometimes if I'm at the airport, just grab something from Starbucks, I'll grab those oatmeals. But my normal go-to is just simply making my own oatmeal. It's less expensive, less added sugar. And in my oats, I like to do oats, chia seeds, cinnamon, some stevia, or some sort of natural sweetener if I don't use that, and peanut butter and salt. So that's pretty much my go-to every morning. Sometimes I'll add like sauteed apples on top or some berries, kind of depends on the season. But it's just so much easier and less expensive than purchasing the pre-made oats. There are some brands that are better than others. So I know that RX bar, I don't know if the company's RX or RX bars, but the people that make RX bars have some instant oats that I think are pretty great, but also they're just always more expensive. So I choose to not purchase those at the grocery store and just always make my own. Number 2 is mayonnaise and sour cream. Honestly, I didn't grow up on either of these foods. The texture kind of threw me off when I was little, and we never bought them, so I just never was tempted to buy them. And then the more I've learned about it, I think it's just been easier for me to make the switch and use Greek yogurt instead. Plain Greek yogurt, it pretty much tastes the exact same as sour cream to me. And I don't know if that's just what I'm used to now, so I don't notice a difference. But whenever I am baking or cooking, anything that calls for mayonnaise or sour cream on my blog, you'll always see that I'm using Greek yogurt in tuna salad, chicken salad, different things, because it's just lower in calories, higher in protein. So that is what I do. I do not buy mayonnaise or sour cream. Number 3 is going to be white sugar. I really actually like the taste of coconut sugar, so that is what I buy instead. And it has a lower glycemic index, which means it's not gonna spike your blood sugar as crazy as white table sugar. Is that what it's called? Or is that just table salt? Which is like white sugar I never buy. When I'm baking, I'm always using coconut sugar, raw honey, or pure maple syrup, which takes me to number 4. I never buy the fake maple syrup, I guess. I know it's less expensive, and if you're baking, it can be tempting to just purchase that like Aunt Jemima instead, but those are not real maple syrup. I don't even think if you look at the ingredients in them that it says maple syrup at all. It's really just like high fructose corn syrup and natural flavors. So I never buy just like the fake pancake syrup. I always buy the all-natural pure maple syrup. Number 5 is going to be juices. So I will say, being pregnant, the first trimester, I really wanted smoothies with like fruit juice. I was having this aversion to milk, and typically when I make smoothies, I put milk in them. But the only juice I've recently bought was like a carrot, turmeric, ginger juice from Trader Joe's, and all the ingredients looked great. A lot of the time they're actually like juice cocktails, and they aren't even juice at all. It's just sugar and flavorings. So that's something that I never buy from the grocery store. Which brings me into number 6. I do not buy bottled smoothies ever. I would just much rather make my own. I don't buy juices because I prefer smoothies, because smoothies have all the fiber in it and everything from the actual fruit that you're putting in. And I feel like when you get juices or smoothies that are pre-bottled, it's just so high in sugar and has additives that you don't need. So I really just prefer making my own smoothies and never purchasing them. Also, when I make my smoothies, I don't like a ton of fruit usually. I just want enough to make it sweet, and then I'll add some Greek yogurt, some protein, some milk, maybe a little nut butter, and that's just what I prefer. So I don't really buy those prepackaged smoothies or the juices. Number 7, I never buy granola bars. I honestly don't buy granola or eat a lot of granola. I've always just stuck to topping my yogurt bowls or smoothies with a little fiber cereal or cereal just to give it that crunch. But I've just never been a huge granola person. But most granola bars that I find at the grocery store tend to just be really high in added sugar that's not necessary. They're not very high protein. Just a lot of funky ingredients. So I would rather just either make my own or not. I wouldn't consider these two to be granola bars, but I do like Lara bars and RX bars because they're basically just nuts and dates and a couple other ingredients, whatever, depending on maybe you want chocolate chips in there or some other kind of seeds. I know RX bars, it has egg whites for protein. So I just never buy granola bars. Number 8 is vegetable oil. I don't buy vegetable oil. I prefer to cook with olive oil, extra virgin olive oil, and coconut oil, avocado oil. Those are the ones that I tend to buy. I know I grew up, my mom having tons of vegetable oil in the pantry and like Crisco sticks and things like that. But personally, it's just something that I never buy. I prefer to get olive oil, and baking, I love to use coconut oil. So never buying vegetable oil. Number 9 is white bread. I never buy white bread. I didn't grow up eating white bread. There's just very little nutrition value in white bread. Not really any fiber. They pretty much strip all of the goodness out of it to make white bread. So I always buy sprouted bread, whole wheat bread. I love Dave's Killer bread. It's very like seedy and more hearty. And I love the 7-grain sprouted bread from Trader Joe's. I do occasionally, again, I think it's like a pregnancy thing, like to get the everything bagel thins. I wouldn't say that's my typical go-to, but if I'm with people and they have white bread, I'm gonna eat it. I mean, I like white bread at restaurants dipped in olive oil, things like that, but personally, it's not something that I purchase from the groceries. Number 10 is sweetened dried fruits. So I do like to buy dried fruit. Like, I don't snack on it a ton. I really like dried figs. Super simple. You can pack it in your purse or whatever with some nuts and just make a little healthy trail mix, but you just have to be really careful because a lot of them have added sugar. Even if you go to Trader Joe's, I know they have the dried mangoes, and then they have another one, and one of them is called Just Mangoes, and the other one has the added sugar. I always check the package and make sure that there's no added sugar in those because they're already sweet enough with all of the natural sugar. Number 11 is like protein snack boxes. I know that they sell those at the grocery store and at Starbucks, different places, but I just think they're a huge ripoff. I don't necessarily think that the contents are bad. Usually it's just some sort of cheese, crackers, apple, peanut butter, olives maybe, an egg, hard-boiled egg, which like all great, but I just choose to not spend my money on it because it seems like a huge waste. I feel like whenever I see them, they're super expensive, and also I would rather, because I'm a control freak, I would rather choose which crackers are going in, which type of cheese. You wanna say hello? What do you not get at the grocery store, huh? What do you not get? But I would just rather make all of that stuff myself and make my own little protein boxes if I was taking it to work or on a trip or something like that, because it just seems like a huge ripoff. Number 12 is canned or packaged fruit in syrup. I know that was like a really big thing when I was in elementary school. People would get those mandarin oranges in the cups with like the syrup. But now when I'm baking and I'm going out to find things, I never buy anything that's just sitting in syrup and artificial sugar and all of that. I honestly don't buy a lot of pre-cut fruit in general. I feel like when I send Michael to the grocery store for things, he comes back with the pre-cut stuff. But especially now that I'm pregnant, it's something that I've tried to avoid, just as little of the hands as possible. Just want to get the fruit, clean it myself, and chop it. So that's something I just don't really buy at the grocery store. So 13 and 14 kind of go together, but it's reduced fat peanut butter and reduced fat cream cheese. So pretty much anytime you buy something that's reduced fat, they have replaced the fat with added sugar and salt and just emulsifiers, different additives to make it still taste good and to give it the same texture as the original one. And especially with these two things, like with peanut butter, it's such healthy fats, I don't really think you should be trying to reduce them out in there, and especially replacing it with sugar. So I just never buy reduced fat things. Same with salad dressings. I feel like they get a really weird texture. Like, I love Chick-fil-A. Michael, I'm sorry if you're watching this, but even like the light Italian dressing there, it just looks like jelly. When it gets poured out, it's like, it's not running, like, you can tell it's not just like an oil and vinegar and herbs. It's like you plop it on and it just kind of, it's like, what was that movie? Flubber. It's like Flubber, and I don't want to eat that. So I do not buy reduced fat, pretty much anything. And number 15 is Caesar salad kits, but really many salad kits in general. The one that I do like and I'll buy the most frequently out of anything is the kale and Brussels sprout with craisins and dried, I think, pumpkin seeds, and it has like a poppy seed dressing. But even when I make that out of the bag, I usually leave out about half of the dried fruit, and sometimes we'll use my own dressing. It's just nice to have like that pre-made mix. But especially Caesar salad kits. I don't really order Caesar salad anyways. I just feel like it usually just comes with like, love romaine lettuce, but if you're talking nutrients, it's kind of just water and then coated in this dressing and then croutons. So not much nutrients there. So never really buy packaged salads or packaged Caesar salad kits. So I hope you guys enjoyed this YouTube video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. If there's something that you do not buy at the grocery store, please leave it in the comments below. I would love to hear. Would love to hear your thoughts on these things that I don't purchase, and if we agree on anything or disagree. Always love to hear from y'all, and until next time, I will see you next time.